Good day once again for we viewers and our listeners out there. I don't show your domot again with another powerful and educative edition of Know Your Rights for Christ Radio and Television. Remember, say this now the program where we talk the law, we talk our constitution for Nigeria, and here we talk about the rights of you as a country person and how you feel use these rights. My name na Princess Anyana, and you fit enjoy this program with us on all social media platforms at Christ Radio TV, or just reach us for our website, will be www.christradioandtv.com. For today's edition of Know Your Rights, as election season don't they draw closer and closer, political campaign don't begin they gather ginger. Candidates, they meet voters. Political parties, they push for support. Nigerians myself don't they prepare to decide who go lead them. But election not just be about politics, now also about you will be the country person. That now why today we bring sabi person to studio to talk to us, say, as a voter, wetin be your rights? Anybody fit to force you to vote for a particular candidate? If person offer you money or some form of, roger for your votes, wetin law talk about that one? Security agents get the right to dey intimidate voters. If violence burst for polling unit, wetin you suppose do? How then suppose they do campaigns according to the law? And when you can't finish to vote, wetin be the work where country person gets to continue they play in protecting democracy? Many Niger people know say, get your PVC, get your PVC. But how many of you know the rights and responsibilities will come with that PVC? To help us understand all of these things and more very clearly, Oga Lawyer, they inside the studio to pieces everything down in simple language, help us understand what in our Nigerian constitution and other laws them. They talk about elections, rights of country people, and responsibility will come with this democracy participation. Justice Oga Esquire, thank you. Say you come with us today.
Thank you for having me.
How your day go?
Very well.
All right now. So seriously, if we say democracy, now government of the people, by the people, for the people, and then all of that will come with democracy. So every Nigerian suppose know their law, suppose know the rights. So tell us, when it come to election, wetin exactly be electioneering? And wetin Nigerians them suppose know about laws we concern everything of voting and elections then.
Okay. So, election generally, like a period where you have change in government in a democratic setting. You understand? Because electioneering generally, now wetin they occur only in a democratic setting. So let's state that clearly. You understand? Say now only for democratic setting now if you get election, because in military rule and some other form of government, you don't have anything like election. What you most at best have is selection or changeover. You understand? So, but when you talk about election, it means say probably person did there before, or person no did there and want to fill that seat. So what are those steps that we need to follow? Wetin we need to do as citizens, as government, to put person for that particular place?
Okay.
You understand? Say for instance now, maybe one elect governor for our state. Wetin be the step? Wetin we need to do to get person to fill that seat of a governor and some other particular offices generally, not just governor, councillor, presidency, senators, and the rest. So that process from beginning to the end, everything would be called electioneering process.
Okay.
So from the period of even before contest preparation, then you talk about contest. After contest, you have a winner. Meaning say person don't win the election, and then you now get everything we call swearing in. You have to swear in the person to take over that particular office. So that is generally what electioneering process
It's
is.
about.
But there are various steps in electioneering process. Means say so many things need to be done. And electioneering process, it gets rule that each individual will play. There's a role of those contesting, and there's a role of those that are going to vote. So if, for instance, say you want contest for election today, you get wetin you suppose do as a candidate. And me, on my own part, as a voter, I get wetin I suppose do. Now, in they call mostly you see responsibilities and all you need to do. So for a candidate, for instance, if I want contest election today, the law in Nigeria no give room for individual candidacy. You know, if you go some other independent candidacy,
Yes.
if you go for other countries now, person fit decide, say, okay, I no want belong to any political party. I want to contest on my own and become maybe a governor or whatever office. But for Nigeria, no be so it be, because the Constitution and even the Electoral Act, this one are the two main laws where they guide election in Nigeria. The 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act now, we get the one of 2026, which was just recently amended, recently passed by President Tinubu in February. So now this particular Electoral Act now go guide us to the 2027 election. So every step, get some things we did for 2022 Electoral Act, where they don't already come out from the 2026 Electoral Act, and get some things where no did the previous act, where they don't put to make sure, say, the 2027 election go well. So back to the discourse. As a candidate, I need to be sponsored by a political party.
Okay.
So a political party in Nigeria must sponsor me to come outside. Now, why you see say today there are many issues between different parties. We talk about party deregistration and all that, because if that political party they affected, person where they contest for that party no go fit contest, because it's more like that party does not exist, and as long as the party does not exist, the candidate does not exist, because now only the party fit actually sponsor a candidate. You see the issue of ADC and NDC when you talk about the registration and all. Now, why up till now they see the fight matter for court to ensure say the party is not deregistered, because anything will happen where we say that party is deregistered today means say they won't participate in the 2027 election.
So they no fit field any
They no
candidate.
fit field any candidate.
So you have to be political party before you go bring out candidates where then go fit vote for.
Exactly.
So that's now one of the things where our laws talk.
Exactly.
Okay.
So also, you know, say before now means they will be say they fit select person will go represent candidate in an election by a political party. So if political party before we talk about direct primaries, indirect primaries, and consensus. You understand? But for the 2026 Electoral Act now, they decide to remove indirect primaries. And what indirect primaries actually mean? It means say more like for the 36 states of the federation, each local government, for instance, could bring one person, we will go speak for them. Just like a national assembly, if I can put it that way. So now those people now will vote on behalf of that local government or on behalf of that particular area.
Now be indirect primaries. Like one person will come up from that area to go vote on behalf of all of them. They say we choose this one person to rep us.
And within the reason why the legislatures come reason and say it's a very disproportionate system. Now because say if you look somebody can easily be influenced. If you bring person today from my local government, we don't already tell and say, Uncle, now what we want be this. Go and speak, go and represent us. And he go there, they go bribe him. Or one incident will happen and he will vote otherwise. You understand? So, but now the 2026 Electoral Act talks say you can only field the candidate through direct primaries or consensus. Now, why you see say major parties like APC, ADC, and the rest had to conduct their primaries through a direct primary.
So which one be direct primary?
Means say members of that political party now then go come vote, choose who will represent them, more like an election. If you look through the system, waiting happen, you go see say people for that where the particular word come outside, come vote. So like the queue up, the system where you say people go queue up, come say okay, they count them, say okay, you are in support of a particular person, and then they count them from the local level up to the national level. Then the person will win, and go come represent that political party. Then when you talk about consensus, for consensus now say the party decide to adopt someone. A typical example is what the P2B scenario in NDC. You understand? So there was nothing like a direct primary. So NDC have actually said, okay, P2B now our candidates, and we don't have
use one mouth
all of us don't agree. So there's no need for any primary or anything. So that's what a consensus candidate is. Then after this period now, you get certain things where candidates also need to do in forms of campaign. You need to campaign for the position you are going to. You need to reach various positioning. Okay, say I'm going for this particular office, vote for me and all that. Tell them, say, okay, this is my manifesto. By manifesto, say this now Wetin I want can do when I enter office. So if I enter office, say, okay, I say if I enter office, I go do this. People need to hold me, say, okay, if I come office, I know do this thing. If you look at past presidents for Nigeria, during the time of before Goodluck, Yaradua, for instance, we get waiting that we call 7-point agenda. As far back as 2007, that 7-point agenda was like the manifesto of Yaradua, the late Yaradua. So that's in that they call manifesto. So you give it to the people, and if the people like your manifesto, they vote you in, and they will hold you by your manifesto. So okay, after your period of time, say even now one of the controversies where they trend now, like that of President Tinubu, that say if I don't give you electricity, by all means possible,
after 4 years, don't vote for me.
So these are some of the issues that come about. This is a manifesto. That was like his manifesto was more like a selling point from him. And at the end of the day, I'm sure people were convinced to vote for him through statements like that and all that. So that's a manifesto. And then after this, and then the main thing now can be the election itself. So election now, who they handle election for Nigeria now INEC. Show me say everybody know INEC. Nobody today go to say know INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission. You understand? And then they handle election. Nobody say states no get electoral commissions. So states have electoral commissions, but they are actually restricted to some form of elections like local government elections and all. But for offices, major offices like governors, senators, and the rest, you have INEC saddled with that responsibility because Constitution don't give them power to handle that responsibility. And some people they fear say, for instance, if you come out the responsibility of election being handled by INEC from some quarters like that of governors, means say you they give states some governors to do a lot of handling. Now, you go say for some states in Nigeria, a particular governor, a sitting governor is easy. If I won't say that easy anyway, but it's easier than the presidency to remove a sitting governor as an opposition. It has happened in Osun State, it has happened in Edo State, it has happened in so many other states like that. But we only have that once in the federal structure, which was during the time of former President Goodluck Jonathan. You understand? So, but the election itself is the main program, the main event. So once an election has been conducted, the next thing is what? Swearing in, because they will have to be given what is known as a certificate of return to say, okay, this person don't win this election.
So make him come
go the rule.
Okay.
You understand? So that's just for that side.
Now, as you don't give us the rights or duty, Wetin the candidate supposed to do. So as a country person now, Wetin you now supposed to do? First of all, this vote where they talk, now civic responsibility have been a right.
Okay. So I go start from that particular question. Say this thing now a matter of perspective, right? And I go break them down from both perspectives, because some people feel that voting is a right why others feel is a civic responsibility.
Meaning, some people feel like you get choice to say and no go vote. Is it a crime to say you no go vote, or is it compulsory say you need to vote? Then another thing, do you need to belong to, because like you say, for candidates, they must belong to a political party. As country person, you need to belong to a party to vote?
No, I will even start from there. For citizens, you don't need to belong to a political party to vote. The constitution does not spell that out. So if you just be normal person where you no even get interest for politics or even events going on in the country, but it is actually a right to vote and be voted for. We even come from that. Let's come from that perspective.
Okay.
Now, when you say it is my right, which means I can, the constitution has actually guaranteed that. So when it is a right, it's just like, say, freedom of speech, for instance, or right to dignity of human person. That is the same way the right to vote and be voted for, because the constitution don't guarantee that one. So nobody will take them away from you. That is the aspect of it being a right. So as long as I have attained the constitutional age to vote or be voted for, say, the constitutional age to vote is 18
yes.
But when it comes to different offices, they don't get the same age. So I can decide that I have the right to vote, but at that particular point in time, I don't have the right to be voted for, because maybe I want to contest for the office of a governor, and the constitution is giving me the time frame of 35 years, and I'm not up to 35 years. So at that point, I only have one right
to vote,
but
not to be
voted for.
Okay.
Because at that point in time, I've not attained that particular age to be voted for that position that I ought to contest.
Okay.
So when you now say it is a right, it means that there is a guarantee. But where the problem now comes is, will I be punished if I don't exercise that right? The answer is no.
So
right?
I can choose to vote and I can choose to no vote. The country no go do me anything.
No.
Security no go do me anything.
No.
Now me choose to do it.
Yes.
So
there are countries in the world actually
yes.
that criminalizes not voting. So instead of sitting down and not voting, you either pay or a fine. I think most countries is fine for countries that obtain that. So if you know that, okay, if I no go vote today, I'm supposed to pay a particular fee, you reason it twice. You will get reason to stand up and vote. And the reason why most people in Nigeria or citizens in Nigeria are shying away from voting, most people believe their votes don't count. But that's not entirely true, because I'll give you a reason. If our votes don't count, why do we have increasing rates of vote buying? They will say people, they won't buy your vote. They won't do this. I'll give you a typical example now. This area council election that happened, I was at a particular polling station and I saw things. You understand? I see them with my eyes. In fact, someone who was even recording the process, they had to hold him, force him to delete the video evidence from his phone, because they don't want any incident to go out of that particular place, because it's an evidence. There were evidence of money moving hands. As low as 1,000 naira, people were selling their votes in this FCT. So not be even saying a far place, because this was area council election.
Yes.
So people be like, okay, at least I know of someone that say, okay, she was waiting specifically for the person that will give her the highest money to vote in that particular polling station. So they were candidates, but they were waiting for who will give them an amount before they can vote. So if your vote don't count, do you think these politicians will be going all out in a bid to get to buy votes rather from citizens? So that's not entirely true. It's just that the issue of rigging, manipulation, and all that is still there. We don't count it out of the system, because even if you are trying to devise means for politicians not to cheat, in a way they will always find an alternative. When we talked about this 2026 Electoral Act, for instance, when we were talking about e-transmission of result, that caused a lot of issues, because there were a lot of data analysis that showed that Nigeria can electronically transfer results from any part in Nigeria. Even the NCC came out to speak in that regard. So why are we now having a clause added to it to say that where electronic transmission fail, we now resort back to manual? All these things are not things because the politicians are happy about it. It's more like the incident form in the former electoral act that was used before. You know, when former President Goodluck Jonathan even went to vote, the what was it called then? The card reader could not capture his fingerprint and all. So he had to resort into what? Incident form for a sitting president at that point in time, because that was like an excuse they were using in the current one that it can actually happen in this particular period of time. But people came out to also give evidence that, okay, why not this system is done more like your WhatsApp messaging. If I send a message on WhatsApp now and there's no network, if I get to a place where there is network,
it will come in.
Exactly. So, but because of one way or the other, the politicians will tell you that they are looking for the best option. But we all know as citizens that, okay, it is one reason or the other that is bringing about this issue, this whole thing entirely.
Okay, now coming back to the issue of the vote buying, it gets anything for our laws we get to do with vote buying? Is there any part we criminalize or we talk the punishment for them, or is it just that Nigeria anything goes?
Okay.
And secondly, I've been asked whether na right or civic responsibility. You say you go answer that for 2 ways. You don't agree now, say yes, now you're right, and you can choose to exercise that right or not. But most times they will say na civic responsibility. Wetin that one say for me?
Okay. The civic responsibility is, it just like ma use house setting. Say for instance, you are in a house, your father for that house, all of una don't get chores who una supposed to do.
Yes.
So as you pikin, if you wake up, you know, say, okay, my own are to the sweep ground, or to the do this one,
or to wash plates.
Or to wash plates. That one are your responsibility for house. So let's look at Nigeria as a larger picture. So is it my responsibility to vote or not to be voted for? The answer, or rather to vote, the answer is yes. It is my responsibility. It's a civic responsibility. It's a duty
that you should vote.
That I should vote. Because me abstaining from voting, which is known as voter apathy and the rest, means that I am allowing, you know, just like how they put this saying, there's a saying that we are allowing the worst of us to rule the best of us. I don't know whether you have come across something like that.
Yes, I've heard it before.
Now, because we know the right thing to do, which is to vote and to select. In a country of over 240 million people, when election come now, they get under 20 million people voters. It shows that that's less than even 10%, if I can put it, of people that are going out to vote. So it is my responsibility as a citizen, because I should know, just like say for that house now, that scenario I just give out now. Maybe your father can't say every week we get person we go they decide who waiting they happen for the house. Maybe the responsibility in that particular house. You can say, okay, I get 3 elder sisters, and they say we must decide among these 3 elder sisters every week. And when that one week one come, I say nothing concern me. Anybody will come. If not the only way come, we say go they oppress me. I don't have any power to make any comment because I just allowed it. So it's actually a civic responsibility. But the issue of it being a right is where the issue of compulsion comes in. Because some people are saying that if it is a right, then there should be a punishment accrued to it.
You agree with that? Say they need to put a punishment if you no vote. If you don't reach the age of voting and you no vote, there should be a punishment
Personally,
for it.
I
To
don't.
make people more accountable.
Personally, I don't. But
Why?
there are people that actually believe that that should be a reason. No, I think the problem now is the issue of sensitization.
On the part of
on
who?
the part of the voters. That is, the voters are not really sensitized to know that it is their right to actually vote. And the fact that because of what people are seeing over a period of time, it has actually discouraged them from participating in politics. When you know, say you go vote and you know that this should be the outcome of your voting, and then when it gets to the place of announcement of result, for instance, they tell you that this is the person that won the election. Or maybe you have voted and somebody won the election and the election result is obtained by the court. You now begin to ask yourself that, okay, so what is it worth the stress of going out to do this entirely? But I always say, yes, it is worth the stress, because anybody that should govern me, I should actually decide. I should be part of those deciding who the person is. I don't know whether you get
Yes,
the point.
yes,
So
I get
that's
you.
just it. It just have to do with mentality, perspective, and proper sensitization. You know, for Nigeria, we get the National Orientation Agency, but I don't think that agency has lived up to expectation. I would say that personally, because there are a lot of things that should even come out. People should say some things. I'll give you a typical example. When the national anthem was changed overnight, till today, I don't want to say I'm dissing. I think I only know the first stanza of the national anthem. And that's because at least I hear it somewhere and in major occasions and all. But it's not, I've never taken it upon myself that, okay, I should go and learn the national anthem or see it as being important, because for me now, I even vex when they change the national anthem.
Okay, so if you say if National Orientation Agency now for the up and doing, maybe sensitizing people, encouraging people, it go a longer way to make Nigerians get more interest in knowing it.
Exactly. And if you even look at it, typically, some people that go, will I even say, let me just, from my own perspective, I'll say about 40 to 50% of Nigerians that go to vote are going there because they are having one form of inducement or the other.
Or they even get personal interest in maybe
That
the
is just
person.
it. That is just it. Because if someone will open his or her mouth and tell you that I'm waiting for someone that will give me the highest amount before I can vote, which actually means that the person don't already decide, say, nothing concerns me, anybody with them put there, but it concerns you, because whoever is there will determine what will happen. There was a point in time in this country where a particular slogan was trending. I will tell you, that was Fresh Air 2011. Yes, for those of us that were under Goodluck Jonathan in that period of time, it's not because there was anything particular, but that slogan was something that trended and people actually key into it and saw what was going on at that particular period of time. I know that, okay, maybe subsequently the government was started having issues and all that, but it is because, one, they had a good will I say, I don't want to say PR now, but there was that sensitization. People were always going out and things were actually going out in line with what the government was saying. You understand? That was the period of time people were buying bag of rice for 7,000 naira and the rest. But is it possible today? It's not possible. So when you look at it, sensitization, like I said, is key. And it goes round and round. When you know that the agencies of government that are supposed to be doing this are not even living up to expectation. Because if they are actually living up to expectation, there are a lot of things about even this current government that they can put it out and it will also even make the government sell. So that's just that. But I think there's a part of the question I've not answered.
Yes, so first of all, vote buying, like I still got two things now. I won't just marry the two together because they go hand in hand. For vote buying, like you said, somebody stand there, say the wait. Who give me the highest bidder? Now I will vote the person. Is there anything in our constitution or even the electoral act on top of matters like this? Then two, you also said another thing. Some people, maybe not even inducement. Some people not be inducements. They'll just be say, so we be 10 we can't vote. Maybe then pay, say 7. 3 of us vote who won't vote. Definitely possible say 7 go get their choice. Pass we be 3 we no get. So is there anything of say, as I come, I feel saying that my candidate suppose win and you know win. Is there a way to challenge election where you feel say it no go according to your way?
Okay. Yes, there are ways of challenging elections. But because that's broader, before I go into that one, I think it's better I answer the other one of
for vote buying, inducement, bribery.
So if you go in polling booth or where we vote lately, you will notice you get EFCC officials and some of these ICPC officials around. They don't just come there to complain. They have rules that they came out for. For instance, the 2026 Electoral Act actually stipulates, in fact, is a criminal offense, right? You put it under the heading, vote trading. You just dey like say we dey trade
Buying and selling.
buying and selling or
Trade
foreign
by barter.
exchange. So you are actually selling your vote or you are actually buying votes. So there's a punishment for that. It actually stipulates a minimum of at least 2 years imprisonment. So you can go 2 years imprisonment. That's not all. That's not all. For an electoral, someone who is actually contesting, a public official, you can actually be barred from contesting for at least 8 years. You understand? And there's also a financial implication of at least 5 million naira. For people who are actually looking at it, that is 5 million naira really worth it? That's because if, for instance, the court decides that, okay, Mr. This, go and pay 5 million naira and see no more. So it will be easy for a politician generally to come out and pay the issue of 5 million naira. You know, these are some of the things that people have actually raised with the 2026 Electoral Act. Because, for instance, now you say, okay, political parties have a particular amount they must spend. And if they spend beyond that amount, they have to pay a fine. And you are paying a fine of just about 10 million naira thereabout. So if a political party has billions to spend, won't they spend billions and come back and pay fine?
Million.
So these are really some of the challenges for that particular decision. But that there is a punishment. We know that there is a punishment on ground, and the punishment catches both ends. So it's not
because you just tell me now, say the person wey buy, say see go do 2 years or pay 5 million, and if he get banned from politics for 8 years, what of the person wey sell?
That's what I'm saying. Because the law specifically said he who trades. So now, if I did trade, it's both ends, isn't it? So the punishment is also both ends. So it's not particular to this. So if I'm also in that caught in that web, which means I'm also barred for a period of 8 years if I even have
vote.
Political interest. No, not to vote now.
Okay.
Because voting is a right. So no statutes now can actually take that away from you. That's what we're talking about, it being a right. So they cannot make a law today that will bar you from voting tomorrow. The only law that has that power is the Constitution. That's why we call the Constitution the ground norm. So every other law must be consistent with the Constitution. So if person make any law now, we know they in alignment with the Constitution, the provision of the Constitution go override that particular law.
Okay.
You understand? So it is a right. As long as I've turned 18, no even stop there. I just want to, the thing just come my head. I see my talk. You know, it's not just about turning 18. When you turn 18, for instance, you know, go just enter polling station, say you won't go vote. You have to register as a Nigerian citizen before you can vote or be voted for. If I can even put it that way. Because if you say you won't go vote, you don't have a voter's card, permanent voter's card. At least, even for the Electoral Act now, they are trying to make it a bit soft that you might not even have the physical copy. You might even download from INEC website. I don't know if they have started any of such. So which means that even if I don't have a copy of the INEC has not issued me, but I can download from the website to use it and vote. You understand? So these are some of the changes the Electoral Act of 2026 make. Because, for instance, at a point when I needed to vote in 2023 election, my polling unit was in Enugu State. Enugu North, to be precise.
Yes.
But at that particular point in time, I was in Kano State. So there was no way for me to actually move to Enugu State to go and vote, because obviously it's a long period. And the issue of was transfer had already closed. So I was just disenfranchised. There was no opportunity for me to vote in that particular period. So as a citizen as well, you know, you have to register to vote. And registration is not by mouth. There's a time frame. I think the current time frame now is July 14th or so.
Now this is the third extension for continual voter registration.
So it's for us to take advantage of this opportunity. It's so bad in a country where you see people of 30-something, 40-something, they've never voted before, and they don't even have PVC, or some of them have not even registered before. You understand? So these are some of the issues we know we face in that particular area, and it is actually something that needs to be covered up. So as not just saying I have the right, for you to have that right, to enforce that particular right to vote, you need to register with INEC and have that card. And I think for now, there is also reduction in what you can actually use to register. As long as you have your national ID card, your international passport, or what was the last one? NIN. You can
Okay, if you have
actually
your
use that.
NIN,
Yes.
or that's the national ID card, your NIN number, or international passport, if you
Yes,
go
you
use that.
can use it for the registration process.
Okay.
So that's just simple. So it's not something that we need to start dragging about. So that step you can actually use in getting your registration ongoing.
Okay, so election now don't finish. First of all, before we even go, like I said, they talk, person where you they want to not win, what can you do?
Okay.
But even inside the election now, somebody was mentioning, you feel go with phone, you feel record waiting they go on. You mentioned somebody was even recording things and then tell the person say, may delete them. That will not be trampling on top the right of that person. So even this, like if we follow by some of this talk, they make it hard for Nigerians to really hold people accountable. So you feel challenge, say the person where you think say go win, no, you know we know. How do you do that? And you where be say you know votes, you get the right to hold the leaders or whoever is, even though you did not vote, but you have the right to demand accountability from the person that will sit down as the leader of the country where you belong to.
Okay. For the last question, is actually an aspect of, will I say, morality now. You know, put person for there. What gives you the moral standing? I'm not talking about the legal standing because you have the legal standing. But I want to ask
so
you.
According to law, it no matter whether na me vote you or no vote you.
Yes.
You, as long as na my country and you they lead,
You have the
I can demand accountability.
Yes, you have the legal standing. Yes. But for the moral standing is what I'm asking. You know the person is not there and you didn't put the person there. And even if, okay, let me not say you didn't put the person there, you didn't participate in the election that brought about the person. So your voice at that particular point in time was not heard. What gives you the moral ground? That's what I'm just putting it from. That, okay, I should challenge this person sitting up there. But when you talk about legal ground, you do. Because why? The Constitution actually empowers you and the Constitution gives the person who is actually there certain responsibilities, and if the person is not living up to those responsibilities, there are certain steps that can be taken. You understand? There are a lot of steps, and one of those steps deals with impeachment. But impeachment does not come directly from you. It actually comes from those you have actually put in place, like your lawmakers. If today you want to impeach the president, it's not something that you say, okay, I get power, let's bring down the current president. It's not possible.
So ordinary country person cannot just stand up and demand may president come up for there. You have to do and through your representatives.
Yes, that's why you have an elected representative. What you have in the Senate and House of Reps, they represent what is known as constituencies. So in most areas you see something like this federal constituency. So they represent the entire people of that particular place. So if those people say, okay, we don't want the current president, they are right. They have spoken through you. So there are steps that can be taken to bring down the president. But it's not an easy step. That's why if you notice, it has never been easy. I'm not sure it has at any point in time it has even come. People will just utter it as statements that the president should resign or the National Assembly should impeach the president. You hear this kind of saying, but it's not usually easy, because when you talk about two-third majority, for instance, is not an easy number to get. When you talk about two-third, for instance, you are saying something like you have 30 persons in a house and 20 persons have to be in agreement
to pursue that person.
To pursue. And when you look at Nigeria political structure, for instance, political party interests most times override national interests, because they want rather to protect the interests of the political party rather than the interest of the national government itself. So when you talk about some other aspect that you mentioned, you say, okay, that someone
go polling unit to video or to see all of this intimidation, ballot box snatch, all of those things shall they happen for there. Wetin be the right of country people in those
now
instances?
There's what we call INEC guidelines or electoral guidelines. So these guidelines actually gives you what you need to do in a particular polling unit. So if the electoral guideline have stipulated, for instance, that you should not go in with your phone, it actually tells you that that is the law, because the constitution empowers INEC to make these guidelines. Except those guidelines are inconsistent with the constitution. That is when we say, okay, those guidelines will be null and void. So in a situation where, we have heard of it in time past, where we say, okay, go and vote. It's called a secret ballot for a reason. So I should be the only one that should know who I voted for. Even if I want to, at any point in time, discuss my choice, it should be like a personal discussion. But it's a secret ballot. Someone should not tell me that, okay, this is the person I should vote or I must vote. You've heard instances where people say, okay, I went to polling unit, I collected money honestly, but I still voted my conscience. It happens. But in some locations where people try to manipulate results, you see that even the INEC electoral guideline, people don't follow it. They don't follow it. So if, for instance, now you have some security personnel in a polling station stationed there for a particular reason, that, okay, in case they see something, they should act. So issues of vote trading, that is vote buying and selling and all, these security operatives are there for a reason. So if they catch someone, it is their duty to apprehend the person and to also prosecute. Okay, why are you selling votes and all that? So these are some of the steps. But one thing we must note is that it is the electoral guideline that determines what happens in a particular polling station. So if, let's say in 2027, INEC release a guideline and say that we should take in our phone to polling unit, maybe we should do whatever we want to do, as long as that guideline is consistent with the provision of the constitution, which means it does not override the provision of the constitution, then that guideline will stand.
Okay. Now, so we don't wind down for on top of the program. What's in be some common, errors, some common crimes, them offenses, them when Nigerians need to know. Say these things according by the constitution, according by the electoral act, now things that we not supposed to do when it comes to matter of election. Then two, voter apathy. How we fit stop am? Like you still talk, you go say if your vote no dey count, and why people can't dey buy am? But many people, this statement they don't take am. These people don't counter am, but still Nigerians them not really don't see reason to go do wetin they supposed do. Many go come out now come tell you say see 2023, because I know very well plenty quarters people push and everything, and at the end a lot feel disappointed. 2027 now don't they come? Some don't say they no go ever go again, but I hear say some they go collect. Now how do we make people to really come out and come vote, and wetin be those errors, offenses we not supposed to do for election units?
Okay, so there are quite a number of offenses. Meaning say offenses dey where person no supposed to do. We talk about vote buying now. That one is specifically a criminal offense. You say, okay, I go sell my vote or I buy vote. That one is actually a crime. Then there's issue of intimidation. Say people they go polling units, go intimidate other people. So you are forcing someone to vote for a particular candidate. Now you are infringing on the rights of that particular person. Don't forget from beginning I say voting is a right. So when you are now forcing someone to vote some other person, that's intimidation. So it's not that for that particular one now, say we are not even just intimidating him on one right, because you're also dragging his dignity to question. It's more like you are saying you are not what your own thinking, so let's help you think. Make sure you vote for this particular person, which is not supposed to be so. And then you talk of issue of cheating, which is very common. Now, what they call rigging now. Issue of cheating is also a crime. We have examples. There are a lot of returning officers that have faced criminal charges for this one. Some of them have been sent to prison. I won't want to mention them because some of them have, even the people they helped to achieve these offices are currently in position while them are in prison.
Well, so actually people they answer for these crimes them inside there. People where they catch, say maybe
Yes.
they do vote buying, they go their matter go end for jail. It gets some way they do all this cheating to where they end for jail.
Yes, definitely. Now, for what the point I was saying, I would not like to mention him. The current Senate President, in person of His
Senator
Excellency
Godswill
Senator
Akpabio.
Godswill Akpabio, you know, the returning officer that decided him winner in his constituency is currently in jail. Most people don't know that. It's because he answered to an electoral offense of which he was convicted. Now, the person he succeeded in putting is actually there in government while he is in jail. So there are people who answer to offenses. So the issue of rigging, you say, okay, let's ensure that someone actually, a particular candidate emerges. So it's actually not it's not the right thing to do. It's actually a crime. And if the law catches you, obviously, just like this name I mentioned now, you will be in prison. But the question people have been asking is, are the agencies really interested in pursuing people who actually commit electoral offenses, or they are doing it selectively? Because that has been the question. Yes, because you know, it is not for me to wake up and start prosecuting those people, right? It is actually still within the agencies responsible to prosecute. So if INEC, for instance, say they are not interested in pursuing these things, it actually tells you that most of these people committing this offense will go scot-free. Or EFCC or ICPC say they are no longer they are not interested. People committing these offenses will go scot-free. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to say that some of these security personnel and agencies are also part of the problem we have, because like the example I gave you earlier, security personnel were there, but someone was mandated to delete a video from his phone. They were standing there, you understand, and nothing was done. The only thing I know that probably maybe violence had erupted, that's when they would have come in, but they stood a watch and the man was forced to delete the video from his phone.
So with all of this now, Nigerians know their rights and everything, but do they see these things then? So how do they continue to have confidence or really come out to exercise their rights?
Okay, so this is about the second part of the question. So when you talk about maybe voter apathy and people having confidence in the government because of all what is happening, I think it's something that falls from institutional change, right? You know, Nigeria as a country, we have more of powerful individuals and powerful institutions. When someone can decide, you know, someone will tell you, I will do this to you and nothing will happen, because he knows that he has the power behind him and there is no institution that will come against him. But when you have powerful institutions, you know that a lot of crimes will not go unpunished, for instance. So most of these reforms are needed in most of these institutions. You know, they will tell you that the problem of Nigeria is not the problem of laws, because Nigeria is one country that has almost every law for everything.
Exactly.
But the problem we have is implementing these laws. So when somebody comes and tell you that I will do this to you and nothing will happen, you see that most likely that's exactly what will happen, because he's a powerful individual in the society, compared to when an institution is strong. You know, an institution can, for instance, a court will give an order that, okay, arrest this person, or let me not even go for arrest, release this person on bail, and a different institution will wake up and arrest the person right in front of the courtroom where he has been granted bail. These are the things we are talking about happening here in Nigeria. So most citizens will see this and say, no, I don't have trust in the system. But the question is this, things like this takes time, right? It's not something that we want that can easily happen overnight. If someone had told you that before a sitting president will lose an election in Nigeria, I'm sure if they ask you, you say it's a lie. But it has happened and it's going to happen.
Again,
yes, definitely, it's going to happen. It's not going to be the first, right? You know, people have said, okay, 2023 election, for instance, that's like the election where the winner of the election had less votes compared to the other losers combined.
yes.
It's the first in Nigerian history. right? Because President Tinubu's vote is roughly around 30-something%. So if you put 30-something% of a vote over 100, it's actually not a good number. It's just the split in the opposition that gave him rather that power based on this. And some from quarters people have said it has been from rigging, that even put it that way and all that. That what happened in the glitch in INEC server and all that. Till today, we don't know what happened in INEC. Even the current INEC chairman offered to give us explanation when he came in. Up till now, there is no explanation.
Okay, so, just us. Finally, because of our time, finally, if he gets like any 3 to 5 things where you want make Nigerians know today as they go, but you want them to know about their rights, about the elections, and even as they prepare for 2027, Wetin go be like your last message to Nigerians concerning everything we don't discuss today and the future we will see for front?
Okay, concerning election, the area where me I go one touch where now the issue of voter apathy, right? Most citizens believe that the country has gotten to a state where they don't need to participate again in an election. But they always talk say it is a lie. It is a ploy, na system from those in power. Because the less number you have, the easier it is to manipulate. You take it or leave it. Yes, the less number you have, the easier it is to manipulate. When you talk of, you say, I no go. The system, Nigeria has failed me. At the end of the day, you are pulling back. So you are now allowing the few individuals that already have it as a right, if I can put it that way, bragging rights, that okay, we are going to win this election and we must win it. You understand? Most times when I sit down and have discussion with some people will say, we know this person is going to win. We know, we are very sure this person is going to win. I ask question, how sure are you? Because the country is gradually changing. Yes, the country is gradually changing. I think where we need more orientation is in the grassroots. Where we need more orientation is in the grassroots. Because if, for instance, you have people in Abuja, there is a lot of division when it comes to political discourse in Abuja, in places like Lagos and all that. You can't have a lot of persons thinking towards that one direction. Most people think towards a particular direction because they have been given 1 cup of gari or 1 cup of this thing. That is the person they know. That's why you go to a particular community today and tell them that, do you know this political party? They will tell you they don't know, because the only thing they have been hearing is one particular party, that has been coming over and over to give them maybe gari or anything. You understand? I was in my state during Christmas period, and I saw what the sitting senator came to do, and I was just laughing within myself. You understand? Because to me, I won't say that is what we call representation. Because it doesn't mean that when you come, people have been looking at you and saying that, okay, we have this issue in this place, we have this issue. But when you come, you tell people that, okay, based on families, they should come out, collect 10 kg rice and collect 5,000 naira, and you have empowered them. I see that as a very deceptive thing.
So more awareness supposed to happen for grassroots them, for villages them, for corridor them, because now those people go actually really they vote. So most of us elite we already know, but those village people now who bring, like you said, 10 kg of rice and 5,000, now they will just be say, oh, you don't do something for us, not even knowing say that's the way even do self. Maybe not even their money he used to for them.
Their money. So when you even look at most of these things, you just know that is how it is. So generally speaking, apart from orientation, it's also individuals. You know, how many times you don't even come outside to make research about a candidate? Or how many times have you allowed yourself to be freed of religious or ethnic sentiment? You know, say most people will say, okay, this man is my brother. This man come from my place. So I am to vote, not because of anything, but because this is someone that comes from my place. And it happens in so many places, even in institutions and the rest, which is actually not where we should be looking at this point in time as a country.
All right. You don't hear Ram say more awareness, more sensitization need to enter inside villages, inside corridor them. People need to know their rights. People need to know, say, these things then where they do for you, all this stomach infrastructure, they know they do it because they like you, and not be even their money. Now your money what they supposed to do is for you. Now they use they do and like this, so that you go say that they do something. You also mentioned, say, even us personally, we supposed get individual mental awareness. We supposed leave tribe, we supposed leave religion and know the person for who them be. One thing they clear, say democracy, it no starts, can't end with politicians. Democracy they stronger when country people know their rights, understand their responsibilities, and follow obey the law. Your vote no be something where you need to sell. Your voice no suppose dey quiet. Your participation no end after election day. Every election opportunity to shape the future of our communities and our country. The Constitution, the Electoral Act already they protect the voters, but country people too must do their own by to reject violence, refuse vote buying or selling, respect the law, and participate peacefully for inside matter of election. Thank you so much, Justice Oga, for saying you come here, you break all of these things for us, help us to understand the law and understand our rights when it comes to election matters.
Thank you for having me.
All right. To everybody we watch us, no wait until election day before you know your rights. Because if you know this rights, if you know somebody else now go they decide them for you. Make knowledge be your guide. Make peace they guide your action, and make the law remain the thing where we say they show you the path to follow. Till next